Hey, happy Friday. Congratulations for making it to the end of the work week. I hope that you have a nice, relaxing weekend in your future because we had a very busy week with this hurricane making landfall last night. Now still threatening with that tornado risk, high wind risk, and flooding risk across the U.S. Let's take a look at that tornado risk. Spin-up tornadoes will continue across the East Coast. Helene continues to track north. It's a tropical storm now, but it's still threatening that high wind and flooding. And the flood risk, of course, continues not only today, but also through the weekend. Let's take a look at what we saw yesterday. Hurricane Helene, at the time, Category 4 hurricane, made landfall at 11:10 last night Eastern Time, 10:10 Central Time, and that was a Category 4 hurricane. Really impressive strong wind speeds through this area. Of course, some of the strongest wind speeds right on the Big Bend of Florida, but then flooding all across places like Tampa and across the west coast of Florida. And then this continued to track up to the north, producing, there you go, some tornadoes in this area. We had tornado warnings all across South Carolina before Helene even made landfall yesterday, and now causing some major flood concerns and wind concerns across the U.S. today. You can see all of those wind alerts, or wind reports rather, that we have already this morning. Let's take a look at your windstorm highlights. So what you can see here, our Mets spent the night and the morning mapping, and you can see that we've got some really strong wind gusts in the Big Bend of Florida. Estimated wind gust here, 140 miles an hour, absolutely insane. But we do have some wind gusts weaker than that, weakening as you go farther to the north, anywhere from Florida all the way to West Virginia. So if you want to see that map, you can head over to hailtrace.com. Our Mets have worked really hard on making sure that is very accurate and putting those even very minor, very major wind gusts that are in some like very localized places on the map for you. So they've been tracking that all morning and night long. All right, let's take a look at what you can see for today. You've got those showers and storms that are continuing from Helene farther out to the east and even making its way into the Mississippi Valley here. You can see that we've got a very dry setup farther out to the west, and I think we're going to stay dry for the most part through the weekend. Our New England states, dry right now. However, you're probably going to get some of this moisture over the next few days. We've got we'll break down these watches for you in just a few minutes, but you've got everything from that tornado watch to a flash flood warning to we may even have a severe thunderstorm warning going on right now, and then we've got that tropical storm warning as well. I think these were our tornado warnings from yesterday, but you can't see anything now, so I'll skip through here and get you back to your current temperatures. Current temperatures are sitting a little bit warmer than what we were this time yesterday. 78 here in Oklahoma City, not too bad. 74 in Denver, 80 degrees down in Dallas. So maybe you can get outside for your lunchtime, sit on the patio. We don't have any clouds or any rain in Dallas, as I can see. So that'll be pretty nice to get outside and enjoy some of this nicer weather. I do think that it'll warm up a little bit more than this as we head into your weekend. But for the most part, most of the U.S. is sitting in the 70s and 80s. Now let's return back to that storm risk today, because we've got a lot to talk about from the impacts of Helene. You can see where we've got the most unstable air, so your forecasted instability here, anywhere from North Carolina up to the Virginias, and this is where we're going to have that tornado risk for today. The hail risk, very similar to yesterday, looks pretty minor, okay? Are we going to see any hail over here on the East Coast? Most likely not. This is, with hurricanes, you don't get hail, you get high wind, you get flooding, you get tornadoes. However, that hail risk is extremely low, if not nothing. Could we get any hail from some of these storms farther off to the west? I think it's possible. However, I think if we do get any hail, it'll be very small, so small that on my hail map today, I put no significant hail expected. I don't think that we're going to get up to quarter-sized hail anywhere in the country. So wind, flooding, and that tornado risk is going to be the big factors that we'll be talking about today. And moving on here, there you go. Taking a look at your future radar, we're going to break down kind of section by section what we're watching for here with our red boxes. Here you are. Farther down to the south and east in this area from North Carolina up to the Virginias, we're watching for high wind about 40 to 60 miles an hour. That tornado threat is a level 3 on a scale of 5. And that flooding threat, that'll be one of the biggest concerns. We've already seen some crazy flood videos this morning already. That's a level 4 out of 4. And I'll show you exactly where that flood risk is the highest in just a minute. But moving farther up to the north here and out to the west, we're in Tennessee and Kentucky. Our wind gusts just a little bit lower. I went ahead and put it 30 to 60 miles an hour here. That flood level still significant, a level 3 on a scale of 4. And then if you head a little bit farther up to the north, I'm not expecting anything severe in this area. However, rain is definitely possible. I don't think that we'll get any hail from this, and I don't think that we'll get any severe storms as we go farther to the north either. I think a lot of this will be either light to moderate rain as we get farther to the north. But either way, I think that you need some rain up there. We don't need any rain in this area of the country, but that's where we're going to get it. Let's talk about the tornado risk, and then we'll talk about the flood risk. You've got that level 3 highlighted here in red, anywhere from Wilmington into central and even portions of northern North Carolina. And then you go up to Virginia, you've got that level 2 highlighted in yellow from Virginia Beach to Roanoke, and then just a small sliver of the northern side of Virginia in that level 1 risk. So you've got a very, very defined area of where we're expecting the most number of tornadoes today. And if my clicker will work, there we go. Again, you can see what we're talking about here. We are not talking about a line of storms. This looks a bit messy, right? So what we're watching here is spin up tornadoes. This is going to happen very quickly, which is why it's very important for you to have multiple ways to get those weather alerts from the National Weather Service, because they will keep an eye on where they see potential strong to severe thunderstorms that could have rotation, that could spin up a tornado or two. That's what we were watching last night. Last night it was like 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings, and then it was like, okay, 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings, and it was kind of all over the place. But that's what they're watching for today, is this messy situation. They'll be watching for those spin up tornadoes. I know you hear the word spin up and you think weak. That is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about quick. You may have less reaction time because they go so quick. That's going to last through the evening hours, but start to dry off by the time we get into tomorrow morning. And there's a tornado warning right there. We're not going to go down to it, but I do want to note that we do have ongoing tornado warnings right now. All right, let's go into your flood risk here. Take a look at the rainfall totals all the way from where we saw landfall yesterday up to the north, seeing some really intense rainfall totals anywhere from South Carolina to the western edge of North Carolina. Some really impressive numbers here on top of what we got yesterday. And then we'll get even more tomorrow, very similar farther out to Tennessee and Kentucky. We are also already getting some really impressive rainfall totals, and we'll get even more as we head into the weekend. At least 3 to 5 inches expected in northern Kentucky and into western Tennessee, even seeing some really impressive rainfall totals out into Arkansas and Missouri. So all of that rain has to go somewhere. Where is it going? Well, if the soil is saturated, it's probably running off onto the streets, and that's going to cause some flooding issues. Ponded roadways, flooded roadways, definitely possible here. There's that level 4 out of 4 risk on the western side of North Carolina. Now, still a level 3 stretches a little bit farther south and a little bit farther to the north. We've got Atlanta all the way into the Virginias included in that level 3 risk. And then a little bit farther back to the west, where you can see western Tennessee included in that risk as well. Still, many others could see that flooding today. However, you have a lower chance. A level 2 still means ponded roadways are likely. You know that place in your neighborhood that always tends to flood? That's what we're watching for these level 1 risks. That level 2 risk will be maybe an isolated intersection or 2. These level 3 and level 4 risks means that we're going to have more widespread flooding across these areas. So these are areas, if you have to drive through here, make sure that you are planning your trip ahead of time so that you don't get into a place that puts you in a dangerous situation. Again, you know the drill here. turn around, don't drown. Now what about tomorrow? Here we are into Saturday. You can see that we still have that level 2 risk on the map. Sunday, the risk for flooding goes down. That's good news. And then I think Monday as well, that risk for flooding goes up to the north, but it also goes down. All right, let's talk about that hurricane last night. Making landfall. You can see it was near Perry, Florida. Category 4 hurricane, 140 mile per hour wind speeds. That is a solid Cat 4. Now tracking through Georgia, sitting just along that Georgia-North Carolina state line as a tropical storm. So it's slowly weakened through the overnight hours, moving very, very quickly here for a hurricane. It's picked up speed since last night, moving at 32 miles an hour up to the north and probably making a bit of a western turn over the next few hours here. Pressure sitting at 975. I think the lowest pressure last night, don't hold me to this, was 938. I may be wrong on that. Either way, this is going to continue to track up to the north to Tennessee and Kentucky as a low pressure system as we head into the later portion of tonight. But what's going to happen here is it's just going to sit over Kentucky all the way through the weekend, bringing a ton of rain to this area, which is why we see that excessive rainfall through Saturday and even parts of Sunday as well. All right, breaking down some of our watches and warnings here. We have that tornado watch anywhere from North Carolina all the way up to southern Virginia. This is in effect until 6 o'clock tonight, as I mentioned, into the evening hours. That tornado risk will go down. Flash flood warning. Where did we see that level 4 risk earlier? Western North Carolina, western South Carolina. That goes until 4 o'clock this evening, so hopefully you're seeing some relief by your evening commute. If not, you may be getting some relief for tomorrow morning. And then there's your tropical storm warning, still for South Carolina there. Taking a look at your future temperatures. Oh, and if you need more information about that hurricane last night, we have lots of short videos on our TikTok and Instagram and YouTube pages, so head over there for more information. All right, now taking a look at your temperatures as we head into the weekend. Temperatures are in the lower 80s here in Oklahoma City, upper 80s farther down into Dallas. Cooler temperatures with a lot of cloud cover and a lot of rain farther off to the east in the 70s and even some 60s. We are seeing a warming trend farther out to the west, so into the Four Corners and into California. We're seeing temperatures warm back up into the 80s and 90s, if not even a little bit higher out there. So they've got a hot weekend. Summer's coming back for revenge out in this area. I mean, and even look at Oklahoma City and Dallas, almost into the 90s by early next week. But we do have some cooler air coming, so I don't expect that to last for too long. All right, thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. I hope that we could make your Friday a little bit better, but also keep you informed about the weather. We have tons of maps at hailtrace.com, so head over there for any of your wind, tornado, or hail maps. Or you can even call us at 855-334-4245 for more information, or send us an email at info@hailtrace.com. While you're sitting at lunch today scrolling on your phone, give us a follow. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We've been posting tons of videos about the current weather there. I think that we have a hail anniversary. I want to say possibly Denver on Sunday. So we'll be posting more pictures from what we saw back in, I think it was 2014 on Sunday. So follow us here and you'll be able to see all of those pictures. All right, thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you back here, same time, same place on Monday.